Hi everyone. So it's a bit of a sad update video today, but I wanted to let you all know that my oldest bunny, Coco, she has passed away, and I wanted to let you know what happened, just explain a little bit about her life. I've had her since she was a baby, and she started my love for bunnies. I got her with her brother Snowflake when they were just a couple of months old, and she was the bunny that got me into loving bunnies so much and realising what amazing little souls they were. So I thought I would just explain a little bit about her life, and especially in the past year after she became disabled, what happened, all that sort of thing. So as I said, I've had her since she was only a little baby, and she and her brother Snowflake were both lop-eared bunnies. Coco's ears didn't turn into uppity ears until after she developed her disability, and then her body adapted and she actually her ears became uppity ears, so which is quite amazing to me. So Snowflake and Coco lived together with us until Snowflake passed away at age 9. And then I bonded Coco with Billy, who was a bunny from the RSPCA. He was an overlooked older bunny. And then when Coco was 11, she had some sort of, we think, neurological episode, like a stroke. It happened overnight, so she was fine the night before, and then I got up the next morning and something had happened. She was having trouble moving. She was disorientated. She was dizzy. She was confused. And I thought at the time, that would be it. I thought I'd have to let her go, and that would be it, which was really sad. But she was an amazing fighter, and she never gave up on life. She showed us that she wanted to still live, and she never lost her appetite the whole way through, even though she was very dizzy and disorientated and she could only lie on her back for a little while there. She never lost her appetite, and she just had this amazing determination and strength and will to live. And so with lots of vet care and lots of medication and time, she actually adapted to being disabled. She never recovered her ability to move. She could move her head and neck and a little bit with her front paws, but she was mainly disabled. She couldn't move her body at all. But she adapted amazingly well. She was amazing. She just sort of accepted this was her new reality, and she took it on, and she did so well with it. And she just focused on the things that she could enjoy in life. So she loved her food, absolutely loved her food. She had the best appetite there was, and she never lost it. Even in the early days, I was just feeding her critical care, which is all she could eat, which was like a powdered nutritional food that you mix up into a paste, and it's really easy to digest, and it's full of very good nutrients. So to start with, that was all she was eating off a spoon, and then I was syringe feeding her water. As she got better, I suppose you would say, even though she was still disabled, as she got to her new better, she took an interest in more food, and she'd eat her greens and her vegetables and that sort of thing. So that was good, because then she got a little bit more independence with that. I still had to give it to her, obviously, as she couldn't move to it, but I could put it there and then she could independently eat that herself. I still had to syringe feed her water right the way through, so that meant that I needed to be there for her all the time pretty much. I didn't like to leave her, because in case she got into trouble with getting stuck under a blanket or anything like that. So I was her carer for pretty much around the clock. I'd only go out for an hour at the most without her, and if I needed to go out longer, I'd either take her with me or I just wouldn't go out to anything that was longer than an hour long. And she adapted really well. She loved her car rides, so she looked forward to her little outings, and she had we put a little sun hat on her so that at the time she still had her head tilt. That did fix up in the end, but at the time she still had her head tilt, so the little hat would just shade her upper eye. It was sort of pointing up to the sky from the sun, and she loved her little outings. And I made sure I fed her, gave her food at least every couple of hours, but pretty much it was constantly just giving her little treats and food and that sort of thing in between her naps. And I got up to her every night for the year after she had her stroke or whatever it was while she was disabled. Got up to her during the night and changed her nappy, because obviously she could not move to toilet, so she was wearing little nappies. Excuse me. And so I got up to her during the night to change a nappy, give her some more food and drink. So I was her care around the clock, which was such a special, amazing experience. And she had such trust. She trusted me so much to do all these things for her, and to hold her, and to bath her little bottom when she needed a bottom bath. And she was just such a happy little loving soul. Like, she would just give kisses, and she had such enthusiasm for her food. And she had a really happy vivacious attitude for life right up until a few days before she passed. I noticed that she was just getting sleepier and sleepier, a lot sleepier, and it just seemed like her body was getting tired. She'd had a really wonderful long life, and she had done so well, and with the past year, with all her medical complications and her issues and adapting to all that, she had done such a good job, and I think her body just got tired. And she was 12 and a half when she passed, which is a great age for a rabbit as it is. And I noticed one night she didn't want her banana treat, which was really unusual for her, because to her, banana was life. She loved her banana. And I thought, oh, that's different. And I knew she didn't have any digestive issues. We had her on, she had in the past had digestive issues, and we had her on a gut stimulant. And I could just tell, when she was in pain, when she was having trouble with her digestion. She didn't have any sort of skerrick of pain, any indication of pain at all. She was just tired, and she was just slowing down. And even when she did have her food, you could just see it was a bit more of an effort to chew. All her muscles were tired. And so I recognised this, as the vet said, she chose her time and she knew it was her time to go. So I recognised this, and I made the bit of time that we did have left before she passed as special as I could. So I gave her last little bottom bath, did a gentle little bottom bath and dry with a hairdryer, which she actually really enjoyed those baths. She'd clean her little front paws while I cleaned her bottom half, and we did that really gently, and I wrapped her up warm in her blankets and took her out into the sun so she could feel the sun and the wind on her face, and she could hear the birds for one last time. And I made sure that we had lots of cuddles and lots of kisses, and I thanked her so much for being in my life, and thanked her for all she taught me and for just being such the wonderful, wonderful little soul that she was, and let her know that it was okay to go, that it was her time and that was okay, and that I was there for her and that I loved her. And then eventually she ended up passing away in her pram, which is where she lived for the last year of her life. We had her in a pram, which was great, so we could move her from room to room, and she could be under the heating or under the cooling, and we could take it out with us. It was a little mobile home. So she ended up passing away snug and cosy in her little pram in her sleep, which of course I wish she didn't have to go, wish she didn't have to pass away, but if it was her time, and it was, and she had to go, then that was amazing. That was the most perfect way she could have gone. She didn't go from illness, she just went from old age, and she just gradually wound down and her body just went to sleep. So I feel really blessed that she was able to go in that way. Even as she was passing, in those last few hours, she was still so loving. She was still giving kisses. She was still so sweet. And, I'm just so proud of her, because she did life so well, she did death so well, and she just was such a joy and an inspiration, I think, to everyone that met her, that she just gave them strength and she just gave them hope, and she just inspired people. So I was so lucky to have her in my life, and I just feel so blessed. I miss her desperately, but I feel so blessed to have had that time with her and to have her in my life. So thank you so much for watching today, and I will hopefully be doing another video soon, and sending you all lots of love and hugs, and I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.